Hey, fellow Aquas, how y'all doing? Welcome. We're going to be doing your monthly general reading here. Let's get right into the meditation. Whoa. So I heard this song, I believe it's called Carnival by, I think, Melanie Martinez, possibly. Listen, y'all, I was taken inside a circus tent. Yes, I was a circus tent. And I saw the Aquarius collective as the ringmaster. Quite literally, as a ringmaster, sitting in the middle of this circus tent with a top hat and everything, y'all, although, it was very bedazzled and, extra like we are. But I saw, as the ringmaster, the Aquarian collective, sitting there like, royalty on a throne while all of these different circus acts walked before them. Like I saw a polar bear that can dance. I saw like a blue man group kind of blue fish man. I saw like all these different acts and energies walking to and for in front of the Aquarian collective. When I think about that, I think about Aquarians. What are we known for? What do we have the reputation around? Being true originals, letting our freak flag fly, not doing anything the way that other people do it. For an Aquarian, the minute that you say, oh, well, this is how this person does it, that is a cue to me to tune out immediately or to go, oh, well, that's how I'm not going to do it then. We will go out of our way sometimes, not all of us, but sometimes we will go out of our way not to do something that someone else is doing, right? And that can be difficult for a lot of people to understand. They're coming from a place of like, well, I'm just trying to help. And you're like, okay, but I have to do me. I have to be me. Like the thought of being like anyone else or someone wearing what we're wearing even in like a very small way, or someone like even I'm going to use air quotes, like copying us, even if it's unintentional, or us unintentionally copying someone. It's like, no, we have to be in our original and true energy. That is the starting point for the month of December for y'all. Now, what I also saw was, as this ringmaster sitting in the middle of this tent, I saw these different screens of possibility flash by. Like it was like Seven of Cups, but more, I'm going to say more Two of Cups, because it felt more like a mirror because for me, the Two of Cups is very much about a mirror image of ourselves in relationship to ourselves or someone else, right? But I saw these images flash by, and I saw one, it was almost like a portal of a movie that you could step in and out of, like virtual reality style, right? And I saw this first image step up, and I saw the Aquarius collective go, next. And then another one popped up and go, next. And then, next. And it wasn't rejecting the ones that came before you. It was rather going, I want to see what all of the options are. And I feel like I heard that sometimes the medicine is in making a decision and seeing how it goes. Oftentimes it is impossible to have all of the information and the sure bet aspect of something before we commit to it. But sometimes the experience itself is about committing to it. You have no way, even though we are futurists, even though we have the ability to see forward and behind and everywhere in all directions of space and time, honey, right? And we're very good at seeing other people, what they're really thinking, what they really mean when they say something. We are the masters of subtext, honey, what people are thinking and not saying. We will pick up on that stuff right quick. But I'm hearing that, especially around the month of Burn, as you consider your next year, you are being called and advised to maybe do a little less of this. I want to see what all my options are before committing to something or walking down a certain road or path. It's more about go with your gut, choose something, and let it be what it is. Because there is this distinct feeling of like, but if I choose this, if I commit to it, if I sign up for this, if I, whatever this is, if I agree to this, then A, could I be missing out on something better? Or could I be making a wrong decision that is going to lead me down a road that I'm going to regret later? It's like this feeling of like a safe and sure bet, right? But here's the thing. It feels like it's through this context of this Aquarian feeling of like being the ringmaster at the circus with all of these different acts who have different talents and look really different. And here's the thing. I'm going to be really I'm going to lay it out for you here right now, Aquas. There is no perfect shoe. There is no perfect fit. Why? Because you're an Aquarius and you are your own size and shape and form. You can only really perfectly fit your own shoe. What do I mean by that? I mean, these different opportunities, these different potentialities that come before you, there's never going to be a perfect fit. It's going to be what you make it, because you are such an original, because you have this energy within you that is so unique to you, right? I also want to talk about moth energy, because moth energy is really, really strong for you right now in the month of birth. Something about moths is that because they go through these, and I mean energetically, right? Because they go through different life cycles, different shapes, different forms of being, right? They start as the egg, and then they go into the caterpillar, and then they're in the cocoon, and then they emerge the fully formed moth. Because that's so inherent within their energy, there's always going to be this aspect of them, this little voice in their head, where they could literally have manifested everything they could ever want. They could have money in the bank for days and years, right? With a partner that they're just obsessed with, family, success. They could literally have everything they want, and there will still be, at any given time, not all the time, but at any given time, this little voice that goes, am I where I'm supposed to be? And it's not that they're ungrateful. It's just that they understand that there is this inherent energy of they are the masters of the truth, that the only inevitable thing, the only constant thing is change. And if you as Aquarius, especially as a beautiful fellow Aquas being a fixed sign, if you can embrace the truth that change is the only inevitable force and factor in this world, right? Change is the only constant, then it becomes less about a safe bet and overthinking something before you commit to it. It becomes, you know what? No matter what I choose, it doesn't really matter, because I'm along for the ride and I understand that it's going to be what I make it, because we are our choices. Okay? Now we got Gazelle here. This is so perfectly lining up with the meditation. This is about, in its essence, this always has more than one side to it. On a shadow energy, right? Because everything has a light and shadow energy to it. This is about fear. Okay? Why are this gazelle's ears so large and in charge? It's so that it can hear from far off, danger approacheth, right? So it can redirect its course and run away to safety. Right? So that's why the gazelle is at any given moment, it's in a state of hypervigilance. At any given moment, it's, what's that? Did I hear a moving in the bushes? And it's because of where it is within the food chain, right? It has that biological imperative for a reason, for means of survival, right? Now, on the light side of the gazelle energy, it equates to like a 9 of Pentacles energy, which is really, really beautiful, right? And it is up to you whether this manifests in its light form or its, shadow form. And it might be a little bit of both, and that's okay, right? But in its light form, this 9 of Pentacles energy is very much about deriving satisfaction from who you are as an individual. Again, it's really tying in well with the meditation. Who you are as an individual and the work that you in particular are good and great at. Now, I'm getting a 3 of Pentacles energy around this too, but I want to talk about the inherent differences between the two. 3 of Pentacles energy is being compensated for what you particularly are good at within a group context. It requires the approval or compensation of somebody else. Teamwork. 9 of Pentacles, though, is the entrepreneur key. And I'm getting this for you guys, right? Which also equates to that equates to that ringmaster energy as well, right? This is very much calling to your attention. Like, what do you do? What is your inherent potential that involves only you and within your own scope? And going, you know what? I'm realizing, again, back to what we were saying earlier, that at the end of the day, whatever I choose, whatever I venture towards, right, whatever I agree to or commit to or dream about, it's going to be what I make it. There's no actual thing as like a wrong choice or a bad turn, right? Because it is actually what you give towards it, what you put into it is going to be what you get out of it, right? I also want to say one last thing, and then we'll get into the keys here. I'm doing a little extra long readings this month for her. There is this energy here too around the gazelle energy of, with tied into your meditation. Sometimes when we are on the brink of manifesting something that we really want, whether we can see visual receipts of it already or we're yet to see the visual receipts, okay? Sometimes we can feel it before we see visual receipts of something. It can elicit fear. Sometimes it's that self-sabotage thing of like, we really can self-sabotage ourselves right before we hit it big, whether that's hit it big in a relationship, money, home, whatever that is, whatever we really truly want in our heart of hearts. We can do this thing where it's like, oh God, run, So for us, this feels like, oh God, is that abundance in the bushes? Is that abundance? Is that abundance? Run! Right? Because abundance, getting what we want, can be terrifying. Because why? Why can getting what we want be terrifying? I want you to really think about that. Why can getting what we want be terrifying? Because once we have it, then we can lose it. And that's the worst of all. The only worst thing than getting what you want is losing what you want, is having it and then losing it, right? I'm not saying that's true. I'm just tapping into the mentality here. Okay? So we have the Eight of Wands here, which I'm really obsessed with. Do you notice all this like forward movement that's happening here? This forward movement, really obsessed with this. So Eight of Wands, traditionally speaking, this is upward ascension, it's communication, it is, ascension with your abilities and knowledge and intuition as well. But the Eight of Wands also speaks of, big movement towards something that activates your heart, right? So this could be movement in business, hearing a lot from people that you really adore and love, spending good time in communication with them, with yourself. This could be, writing that great manifesto that, that you've been wanting to write. But I'm also really drawn to this horse energy here as well, because horse for me represents the Chariot key in the tarot, which is very much about fast forward, balanced movement, right? He's in the Chariot key. There's that white and black sphinx, which speak of or represent yin and yang, shadow and light. I feel like this is you incorporating both your shadow and your light aspects and using them both to propel you forward. Propel you forward towards what? Well, I feel like this is going to be different for different people, but I feel like for a good group of you guys, this is romantical. I have to tell you, because I'm really drawn to this red string here, because it's talking to me about the red string of fate. Now, y'all know, if y'all have been here for a moment in time, y'all know I don't do specific love readings. Okay, I used to back in the day, but I don't do them anymore. I haven't for some time. If love wants to come up and speak its name, then I will comment on it. And I'm feeling that here for y'all. For some of y'all, this is romantical. Okay, and I feel like it's moving towards a greater commitment or moving towards this person. There's something about that. Now, for others of y'all, this has to do with the home, because these also look like marking stakes to me that you would put in the ground. And for another, again, just like the meditation with the carnival, with the different carnival acts and the different like optionality here, this is going to be different for everyone. For others of y'all, though, this really feels like writing or creative project. It really, 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 really does. But this is fast forward movement, and I'm obsessed with it. Now, okay, I'm getting a special message because gazelle are also very quick animals. They move at like the speed of, just really quickly in a moment's notice. I do feel like there's something here about being ready. I do feel like you might be manifesting some opportunities that might seemingly come out of nowhere, and you're being asked to be ready and prepared. And what's that saying that RuPaul says? If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. There's something about that too. But also there's a call to be adaptable and flexible. Okay, that feels really, really, really important. Why are they taking me to this carnival? They're showing me like a carnival act of someone who's very bendy and flexible, who has very little cartilage or something. Is that what it is? Like really flexible and bendable and adaptable. And they're saying if you can go with the flow, right? If you can go with that flow, and that can be difficult. I mean, here's the thing. As Aquarians, we're air signs, so we can go with the flow, but sometimes it can be difficult to do when we want what we want, how we want it, because we're fixed signs. But we're really being asked to really go with this flow, y'all. Really go with the flow, okay? Allow yourself to be moved within this season, especially Sagittarius energy here too, because gazelle is fire energy, right? And we are in Sagittarius season, right? So if you think about a fire, it's very transformative, but it also needs to be, stoked to be, stay alive and then put out, and has to go into a smoke formation and all of that. Different cycles. You're being asked to really go with it, right? You have the Two of Wands here. So wands and wands, remember. So actually we have triple fire here, because gazelle is fire energy, and then Eight of Wands and then Two of Wands, right? It's beautiful. Remember, wands rule the actions that we take. So far, this is very much about action, right? Really beautiful. The actions that we take. So this message here, traditionally speaking, Two of Wands is about getting all of your ducks in a row, right? Before you move forward into the Three of Wands and you take action around it. And what's really interesting about this, do you remember in the meditation how I saw you guys sitting as the ringmaster, and then you were like kind of like swiping through and they were coming through on a screen? I'm really drawn to these two. This is an option coming to and towards you. I feel like this is what is being presented and offered to you, right? Now, I'm gonna go somewhere with this because I'm a feeling it. The fact, I feel like this is a manta ray or a stingray. I feel like it's manta ray. It's a manta ray. And I feel like this is Monterey Bay, actually, is where this is depicted. The salt water. I'm getting a big message around the salt water. The salt water is the ocean. Well, first of all, water represents feeling and emotions, right? And intuition. The salt water, though, the salt is a cleansing agent, which removes anything that is not of our highest and best good. I feel like this is a special message for you around there's an opportunity coming your way. And yes, it will be different for everybody, but you'll know it. You'll know it when it arises. There's an opportunity coming your way, and you're being asked to take a moment and consider it from a feeling place before swiping or moving through or running the other way. That's what it feels like. I'm also, manta rays as well have a lot to do with shadow energy and shadow aspects. They kind of equate to, well, stingrays do as well, to the strength key in the tarot, which is really about understanding, I feel like in this context, is really about understanding that, again, there is no right or wrong. There are only choices made from love and choices made from fear. You are being asked to make choices from love in the month of December. And I feel like if you are able to do that, the more you commit to that, listen, maybe take it into a different context. Maybe it's less about committing to a certain person, place, or thing. And it's more about maybe how they say one day at a time feels a lot more doable. Maybe this is really about, for you, making choices from love and not fear. Can you commit to that? Can you take this gazelle fearful energy, flip it, twist it, back it up, and rework it? And make choices from love and not fear. That is how we move from the shadow aspect of the gazelle into the light, which is that Nine of Pentacles energy, right? Woo, Aquarius. And that's what it is. Ba, ba, da, ba, 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 the Chariot. Now, was I not singing the song of the Chariot when I saw the Eight of Wands key? Let's talk about this. I'm so obsessed with this right now. First of all, more salt water. So there's that. And the Chariot, I already talked about it. It's fast, forward-moving, balanced energy with the black and the white and the yin and the yang, the shadow and the light. And then we have the beautiful Orca here, which is black and white. I mean, this deck, I literally am so obsessed with this deck. So the Chariot energy here, I want to talk about Orca energy for a moment in time. Orca energy, the tagline of Orca energy is navigate with purpose. Navigate with purpose. I feel like that's exactly what this is saying. And again, it's not about, the safe bet or choosing the right one, air quote. It's about making choices from love and not fear, and then moving ahead on that path, not away from it, not rerouting ourselves to something safer or less committal or, less scary or whatever have you, less commitment prone, whatever that is for you, right? Think about what terrifies you the most and why, Aquarius. That's what's being called to you. This is shadow work we're talking about, yeah? What terrifies you the most and why? Can you think of times in your life where you have known everything inside of you, that deep down inside you want to take a particular path, commit to a particular person, commit to a particular, line of work, school course, move, geographical location, whatever that is, but you have gone another way that seemed less scary or safer, right? Remember something, when we are on the brink of getting what we want, our fear is activated and we are propelled to run the other way. Because as humans, in our minds, I'm not saying this is true, I'm saying from our human perspective, the only thing worse than getting what you want is getting it and then losing it. You're being told to navigate with purpose, put one fin in front of the other, right? And keep it moving forward, water bearer. Do what scares you, right? If you're making choice from love, do it and be scared anyway and move right on through it, because guess what's on the other side of fear? Abundance. That's shark medicine right there, right? On the other side of fear lies abundance. That is the message of this whole thing. Abundance lies on the other side of fear. But it is. Okay, Eight of Wands. Also, I want to say the Chariot is, or the Orca rather, is very much about the family unit. Very much about group ties and lineage. Family. Odds. Ooh. The High Priestess. Why am I not shocked at all? You know, even though technically we are the star within the tarot, I always equate us with the High Priestess just as much, to be honest with you. So this is clarifying the Eight of Wands. What have I been talking about? So the High Priestess is very much about intuition, right? Clicking in to discern what lies within the shadows of our own subconscious, within the shadows of our own psyche, right? Remember what I said earlier about Aquarians being experts at reading the subtext? That's also what the High Priestess does. She can read the subtext of other people really clearly. Like, she can hear what they're not saying. Okay, think about like a movie that is in a different language than your the language that you speak. So there's subtitles at the bottom, right? The High Priestess, and Aquarians as well, the High Priestess, the person that she's talking to is the movie on the screen, right? And they're speaking let's say her native language is English, right? And they're speaking in English, but then the subtitles at the bottom of the screen are the subtext of what they're thinking and not saying. That is how the High Priestess receives and lives her life force. Okay, and I feel like Aquarians are very similar to that, to be quite honest. When we're in alignment anyway, sometimes the shadow energy of that for Aquarius is imagining that there's a subtext that isn't there. I want to say that as well, and I say that with love, and I relate to it, right? I understand that. This is saying, in terms of this movement forward and ahead, also incorporate your intuition, but also know thyself. Because if you know and see yourself clearly, if you take the emphasis off of other people or optionality outside of you, and you look within yourself and you know yourself, and you can, you know how we're really good at calling other people out? Can you call yourself out? Can you turn that and invert it towards yourself and call yourself out and say, boop, that's out of fear. You're trying to justify something, not doing something or doing something, and you're calling it being smart, but it's out of fear. You're being asked to check yourself in a great way. But the reason behind this checking yourself is so that you don't cut yourself out of this beautiful opportunity and potential that lies before you and wants to be yours, right? If you can check yourself and really be true about and honest with yourself about what your motives are and the way that you are thinking and feeling and approaching something, that is all you need, okay? That is all you need. Remember, abundance lies on the other side of fear. So think about that. Observe yourself. Observe yourself, I feel like is what this is saying. Observe yourself in relationship to success. Observe yourself in relationship to risk. Observe yourself in relationship to abundance and love. Okay? Observe yourself. Know thyself. Okay? 2 Wands. Yep. Okay. So we got the Page of Wands here to clarify the 2 Wands. Now, I'm really obsessed with this because the Page of Wands is about bravery. This represents courage to me, also writers as well. But the Page of Wands is like, let's do it. This is excitement about what's to come. This is excitement about a new venture. This is excitement about a new idea that comes to you, right? This is excitement about what could be, right? And we were talking about taking time to feel out these opportunities or potentialities that come before you from a place of feeling, right? And not dismissing them too quickly. And then we have the key that represents bravery and courage. Yeah, I want to point this out because it's really adorable. The Page of Wands holds a single wand, and then we have the 2 of Wands, which make 3. And I talked about the 3 of Wands coming after the 2, right? In order to move these potentials into a 3 of Wands place where you are moving on ahead and manifesting the likes of which you've never known before, it requires you to be in the position of Page of Wands and be brave. Have courage. Take a risk. Take a chance, right? There's no reward without risk, right? Be brave, Aquarians. The energy is here for you to manifest the likes of which you haven't before, right? The Chariot. Also, I want to say we are in the age of Aquarius now. So if ever there was a time to do this, it would be about now. Chariot. Oh, God. I literally am living for this. The 8 of Wands again. With the Chariot, I cannot. I'm just going to take a moment. Because this is a situation. This is literally exactly what I've been saying. Navigate with purpose. Abundance is on the other side of fear. Check and know thyself. Observe yourself in relationship to manifestation, abundance, and everything that you want. Are you getting in your own way, or are you paving your own way? Right? I just heard mixed signals cover all options. Mixed signals cover all options. Are you giving yourself mixed signals or is someone else giving you mixed signals? Something about that. Would you please look at this bird of prey? Swiping down, and then there's this snake energy here too, which is about transformation, shedding your skin and moving into a new cycle. Remember what I said about the moth energy being really present at the top of this reading in your meditation, and how there's always going to be this aspect of like, am I in the right place? Did I make the right decision? If you can really truly embrace the truth that the only constant is change and that every decision you make is going to be what you make it, the outcome is solely based on you and what you choose it to be, isn't there inherent freedom within that? If we let go of this whole idea of like fate or preconceived, it had to happen this way, it was going to happen this way, I don't believe in that, right? You are the auteur of your own life. And if you are the auteur of your own life, then there's no reason to be afraid about walking down a certain road and allowing it to lead where it leads. Again, if you're making the choice out of love and not fear, great. And when I say love and not fear, I don't just mean love of another person. Come on, like that old news. Like, I mean the kind of love where it's an energy that you're choosing, because faith is love, right? Patience is love. Kindness is love, right? Forgiveness is love. See what I'm saying? All of that good stuff. All those warm and fuzzies and cuddlies. All of that. Faith is love. If you're embodying love energy in the choices that you make, that is really all you could ask for, right? But in the base case, y'all, this is fast forward movement towards everything that you could ever dream of. So also dream big. Go for it, right? Go for it. Again, these are the actions that you take. This is your energy within her. Beautiful. I'm obsessed. Let's get an article. Did I shuffle these? Yes. Okay. Let's get an article for my Aquarius. This is so beautiful. I really love this. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Let's talk about the smoky mirror. Remember what I said in the meditation about the Two of Cups and how I felt those options coming before you were less of Seven of Cups and more of Two of Cups, because there was a mirror aspect to that? I need a sip of the coffee. Okay, the smoky mirror. Let's talk about distorted images. This is exactly what we've been talking about. This is Buddha here, right? The Buddha sat in silence and meditated for I think it was like years or something, like withstood storms, everything else. And the spirits sent the seven-headed snake Naga, right, to protect the Buddha while he meditated, right? Again, the snake energy here as well, transformation. But there is this energy here around the smoky mirror of the only real way to see things clearly is to see yourself clearly. This is exactly what I was saying about know thyself, smoky mirror. That's what this means. If you look this up in the guidebook that comes with this, this is literally what it talks about. In order to see things clearly, you have to first see yourself clearly. And how do we see ourselves clearly, aside from our conditioning and our fear and our convincing ourselves that things are one way, or even really calling to point and focus like our own inherent prejudices around people, places, and things, right? How do we do this? Through self-observation. Can we? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Be the observers of ourself, because that is where the true perspective and illumination lies, through observation. Listen, emotions are, and I know you're going to relate to me on this as fellow Aquas, emotions can be rough and tough. Emotions are not our natural element, yet we still have them. So how can we work with our emotions and allow them to work with and for us as opposed to against us, or as opposed to an element that we see as inconvenient or uncomfortable? How do we do that? We take on the energy of the observer. We observe ourselves in relationship to our emotions. We can observe the emotions of others. Some might say and hate on Aquarians and say, well, that's a distancing. You're distancing yourself from it. But I say it's more of, this is a way that we can do this in a way where we can participate in our own emotions and the emotions of others in a way that is constructive and helpful, because it's either that or we run the other way, or we allow them to sweep over us to such a place where we absolutely clam up and go in our own energy. Because this is something that a lot of people don't understand about Aquarians. It's not that we don't feel, it's that we feel so deeply that those emotions, it's difficult to bring them to the surface. And when it takes a lot to bring them to the surface, because it really does run so deep, sometimes I have to remind people, like, we're the water bearers. We are the water bearers, which means what? Yes, we are of the air element, but we also hold water. We feel incredibly deeply, right? Observe yourself in relationship to your feelings, and thus see yourself and your circumstances clearly. The smoky mirror comes up to say you might not be seeing things in the most clear light. You might be operating from fear. You might be operating from bias or prejudice or preconceived limitations, right? Observe yourself in relationship to your emotions, and thus allow both to exist equally and in tandem, right? Aquarius, this is beautiful. I will say, there is an element to this that feels like it's a bit of a, when you're in school and you have finals around this time of year, it does feel like that bit of an energy, but it feels like it's only prepping you for what comes next within the new year, which is high manifestation. You're being asked to do this work so that you can let yourself have what you want. This is all about letting yourself have what you want, okay? It sounds easy, but it's not really. As humans, we're not really pre-wired to that. We have a lot of conditioning and a lot of things go on and happen in life that really work on us in certain ways. And sometimes we have to be vigilant with them for ourselves around it, okay? But you got this, Aquarius. I am sending you, beautiful fellow Aquas. This is the last reading of this year, really. I mean, I will put out more for you and whatnot, but this is the last reading of me. And I just want to send you guys so much love and blessings, and thank you for your support, especially because you guys, Aquarians, this channel, the subscribers on this channel are mostly Aquarians, like by and large, mostly Aquarians. So I want to give you guys extra special thanks and love and appreciation. I am wishing you a most blessed and just thank you from the bottom of my Lady Crow heart. Thank you for being here. And as always, thank you for being you, and be well. Until next time.